Hey everybody, welcome back to quarantine. Welcome back to Quarantine with the Boys podcast. This is episode 2, and we're gonna be talking about the election that's actually happening today on November 3rd, 2020. I invited a special guest on here. His name's Brady Callahan. I invited him on here because he's really big into politics, and I thought he'd be great for this episode. Another thing I'd like to mention is the person who commented us to do the Dead by Daylight podcast. That'll be next podcast. I just thought it would be fun to do this today since today's election day. So Brady's gonna be doing most of the talking. I'll say a couple things here and there, but since he's really big into it, I thought he'd again like to say most of the stuff. So Brady, I'm gonna hand it over to you now.
So our two topics today are the pros and cons of the candidates and the statistics. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with pros and cons.
I guess
All
we
right,
can.
so
I guess we can start with Biden, or what do you want to start with?
well, I mean there aren't too many on each candidate, so this will be a short segment. So
Yeah, so I say
you can pick.
I say we can do like Trump first, I guess. So do you want to do? I think we should do pros first and then do cons. So like we say Trump's pros and then we do Biden's pros and then we do Trump's cons and then Biden's cons. You say?
Yes.
All right. Then you can do Trump's pros.
Do you have any pros or cons you'd like to add?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm more.
Maybe
I
get yours
have
out of the
more
way first.
cons. I have more cons than pros.
Okay.
Alright guys, and real quick, before we start off with this, we're being completely non-biased. We're on neither side. We are just saying what we think are the pros and cons of each candidate. So I guess, Brady, you can start now.
Do pros for Trump.
Yep.
So I cannot really think of any because there's just not been anything other than the economy, maybe just a couple tax cuts here and there, but that's really it on my end.
Well, I'll also just say that he's raised jobs a bit. Not by a ton, but he's done a lot for like people who are just getting into jobs and like want to find a good job. He's created opportunities for those people. So he hasn't just sat there. He has helped out with some of the economy. He's helped out for people who need jobs. And he has done a couple more things. So he's not, he has some pros.
Well, yeah, but let's look at this. In a time of a pandemic, jobs are down by 4 million, 5 million.
Mm-hmm.
The jobs that he created, he was creating probably 300,000 at the most. And then they all got completely destroyed during the pandemic, and now we're at about negative 4 million.
Well, yeah, but that's also because, they don't want jobs opening back up so the cases rise. They have to keep them confined, but I don't think they should have it to where they stay completely closed. Like they should institute rules where basically they make ways to keep people from like spreading COVID. So like say in restaurants they can get rid of certain tables and make only ways for the tables to be 6 feet apart, or in like businesses only allow a certain amount of people to go in at one time, or in like hold like 6-foot markers, or have hand sanitizer dispensers around the entire place, and have like people who always make you wear masks at all time in the store, like stuff like that,
Yeah, at the moment those are just guidelines, though. Everybody seems to follow them, but they're not.
Well, not everyone.
Laws.
I'd say like
they don't have to be followed. But
yeah, because there's a lot of people who also don't think that like this thing is as bad as it seems. So like there'll be the people that are like they understand how bad this is and like what they have to do, but there'll also be the people that are like, this isn't that big of a deal. Why do we have to follow these rules? Like it's just as bad as the flu. It's not that bad. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's been a bunch of statements that it is less deadly than the flu, but it is not.
Yep. It actually is, I think, worse than No, it isn't, but
It's about 5 times worse
than the flu. Alrighty, so now we're gonna talk about pros for Biden. You take it away.
All right. Well, first off, I'd like to go ahead and do you have any pros to get out of the way before I mention any?
When he was vice president, because he actually hasn't been president yet, so there's really not much I can say. But he knows our generation very well. I'll say that now. He's super friendly. He knows he wears a mask. Yeah, those are some pros, I guess. You can go on.
So if we want to get actually deeper into his policies and things like that, he's got very good environment policies, healthcare policies, gun control policies, closing the online loopholes, everything like that.
Yeah, I agree with you, but wasn't there I forgot what it was. So is that all the pros for him, or do you have any more you like to say?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a lot more, but that's just applies to different people and what they think.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Where we're trying to stay unbiased, we're gonna keep that.
All right, so I guess we're gonna do cons now. So do you want to do Trump or Biden first?
We can go ahead and start with Trump if you want.
All right, so for Trump, I guess he is a bit racist. He can be at sometimes. He keeps blaming China for COVID when it actually, I'm most likely sure it was proven that it actually didn't start where it said it did.
Yeah.
He takes away, like, he does a lot of stuff with immigrants. He gets rid of a lot of illegal immigrants. Now, I'm not saying all illegal immigrants are bad, but I'm not saying all illegal immigrants are good either. So, he does stuff like that. He like, how do I put it? He's planning on, like, how do I put it? I'm stuttering so hard on this.
Planning on what are you trying to
like LGBTQ, like, I'm not saying he is, but I'm not saying he isn't a big supporter of LGBTQ. I feel like he doesn't really care that they're there, but nor does he actually, like, leave it unnoticed. You know what I mean?
Well, he kind of does, because he picks, and this is just being non-biased. These things, this is being non-biased, but he endorses judges who are against that.
Yes. Well, all right, guys, so I have one more thing to add on to Trump's cons. I think he basically cuts taxes. He also doesn't pay his taxes, in fact. He's only paid around $700 in total in an entire year, which is crazily low for a president especially. Isn't he like a multi-millionaire or something? Like, it's not that hard to pay a couple $1,000s a month.
He's a multi-billionaire.
Multi-billionaire,
and he paid less in taxes
than an average middle-class person.
Yes.
He's also cut taxes. Or no, he's cut taxes for people. Which is,
yeah, well, cutting taxes has some good in it.
But it also has some bad.
Yeah, because then like homeless shelters, libraries, they don't have enough funding.
Mm-hmm.
Schools, I mean, you're cutting taxes, you're bringing home more of your money, but also your towns, schools, libraries, all that is not going to get as much funding as it needs to.
All right, so Biden's cons?
Well, he ran for president a couple times before.
And he's never gotten it.
He's never gotten it, but he did. He was a senator for quite a while.
And he also was the vice president for Obama.
Yeah. He ran once in 1984. Go ahead and fact check that. Could you look up where or when his first run for presidency was? I think it was 1984. I don't want to get that wrong.
When did Biden first run for president? 1988.
1988. So at the end of Ronald Reagan's first term.
The next president of the United States, Joe Biden.
At the end of Ronald Reagan's second term.
It's June 9th, 1987, and then Senator Joseph.
He stole many quotes from famous people and tried to pass them off as his own. And because of that, he got called out on it quite a bit and was forced to forfeit from the race. Well, he wasn't forced to, but he decided it would be best to forfeit from the race to help his image recover.
Dang. That's tough. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
Yeah, he has a stutter in his speech, and he gets called out a lot for being like mentally slow because he has a stutter, and that's just not
it.
Good.
All right. So I think this is going to be our short segment, and then the statistics will probably go on for like 20 minutes. So we're going to head over to statistics now. This is where Brady's probably going to be talking the most, since I don't know much. I'll just say a few things here and there, but he's going to be saying the most. So Brady, you can go on.
So for the election statistics, at the moment, it is still it's November 3rd. It's only 7 p.m. The polls closed an hour ago Eastern time. So there's not many things to call right now. But from what we're looking at, Biden has about a 4-point lead in the poll. But that also leaves the 3-point error margin, which happens quite a bit.
But we also have to take the Electoral College under consideration. The 2016 vote, didn't Hillary lose by like 20 votes or something from the Electoral College? Wasn't it something like that?
She lost about 40.
Oh, so I was 2 times, like, double that. I was off by double.
Yeah. No, she lost. It was pretty much tied for a long time, and then Trump made a comeback in Florida.
If Electoral College wasn't a thing, she would have won the 2016 vote, and we would have had our very first woman president. But I felt like, because she had a couple million more votes than Trump. She was ahead at the beginning. She was ahead, but
she had almost 15 million more votes. But that really shows that voting is irrelevant because it is not
matters about all the
Electoral
College. It's just.
Let me recommend a video called it's by the Washington Post, or no, not the Washington Post, it's by the New York Times. Came out two months ago, and it is called The Keys to the White House.
We'll link that in the description.
It's called The Keys to the White House. It's a video explaining the history of the Electoral College and what the most possible outcome is for 2020. And so you got to look at all kinds of things. You got to look at, hold on, let me get this up here. The Keys to the White House.
So I was on the TikTok, and I've seen these 2 videos where one, it was this quote unquote, it was this guy who did a video about this dude who was basically a time traveler from all the way back in the 1500s, and he basically wrote a bunch of things in this book that actually came true in 2020. And even before that, he predicted 9/11, he predicted coronavirus, he predicted something else. I forgot what it was.
So this is The Keys to the White House. Yeah, it's written by Alan Lichtman. He's predicted every single election from 1984 till now.
And what did he
predicted put? He predicted that Trump would win last election when nobody else did. So this is called The Keys to the White House. So the party mandate after the midterm elections. So let's see. There's nobody contesting the president, which is true, so that would be a point. Let's see. There's no third-party runners. There is no really big policy changes except for tax cuts, so false. Then we'd have social unrest in this time with, all the BLM movement and all this stuff, so there is a little bit of social unrest. Then we've got scandal. Trump did get impeached, and there are many more allegations surrounding him.
He didn't technically get impeached. He got filed for an impeachment.
Impeached and being thrown out of office are 2 things.
But he didn't really even get impeached because he actually never went to court about it.
Listen, impeached does not mean being taken out of the White House.
No, I know.
Okay?
I know that.
Yeah. He was officially impeached by Nancy Pelosi
Mm-hmm.
January 26th or something like that. So he has officially been impeached. One of
Mm-hmm.
the three presidents, Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, and him, have all been impeached because of that. But he was not taken out of the White House.
Mm-hmm.
But he was impeached, and there are many scandals, so that would be true. Let's see. Oh wait, that's the 2016. Oh no, that's the 2016. That would be false.
Let's talk about Biden. Like, what do we think about him? What do we think about like what's going on with him in the election?
Yeah, this is almost done. So
Alright.
we don't have any foreign military success. We don't have any challengers. So with that data, it looks like Biden should win, but we can move on.
All right. So now talk about Biden for statistics. I guess like he's probably won over a lot of votes for young people, especially like people who just turned 18 and are able to vote, because he understands like their culture and stuff since they're young, and they like he understands Gen Z. Let's say it like that. He understands Gen Z in millennial. He sets a good example because he wears a mask whenever he's supposed to. Whenever he doesn't have to, he doesn't wear a mask. He What's another
Hello.
thing?
Sorry, my dog's attacking me.
Okay.
Lord of mercy, child, get off my microphone.
What else? What do you think? What do you think, Brady?
All right. So, but we're doing Biden. What statistics?
Yeah.
So, I definitely do think after all the mail-in ballots are counted, that Biden will receive the popular vote. But again, votes are pretty much irrelevant because
they're
don't
not completely
even get to vote.
They're not completely irrelevant because they show who the person, like they show what person has won over USA basically.
They show who the people wanted.
Yes.
That's about it. But we don't even get to vote on who is part of the Electoral College.
Mm-hmm.
So we do not have any control on who gets elected as president. However, the popular vote does win things like senators, school board, anything like that. So
I have this crazy memory. This has to do with politics, but I have this crazy memory that popped up in my head just now. Back in 3rd grade, I think, we had Jim Gray visit our school because I'm in Kentucky, and he's the governor of. He was the governor of it at the time.
He was the mayor.
Mayor, that's my bad. Mayor. And he came to our school, and we had to write one question we'd ask him. And if your question got picked, you'd actually go get to meet him and take a picture with him. I wrote down this question, and this girl next to me copied off of me, and she's the one who got picked. She's literally the one who got picked. I got so angry.
Yeah. My God, he wouldn't let go of my microphone.
Dogs.
All right. Well, he's a baby. I love him. Anyway. So, yeah, that's a horrible moment.
I know, I was angry, and I didn't tell the teacher because I just felt like I didn't really think to tell them at the time. I would have if I had thought about that, but I didn't. And yeah, I was heartbroken because I watched her take a picture with Jim Gray. And
especially considering when was that?
That was, I think, 2015.
Yeah, that was probably one of Jim Gray's last years.
Mm-hmm. It was either 2015 or 2014.
Oh, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, that was probably halfway through his thing. But anyway, so yeah, what were we talking about? Biden.
Let me search something up.
So he does have. I think he will win the popular vote. but the Senate is at the moment is majority Republican, and the Supreme Court at the moment is majority Republican as well.
And
so
that's
is the
all
Congress.
Because
And
Ruth Bader Ginsburg
that's
died.
why, that is why.
And they just put this random woman in office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why Obama and Joe Biden had such a hard time getting bills passed, is because the Senate and the Congress and the Supreme Court were majority Republican, and they were Democrats, and that was very hard for them. But
my stepmom made a comment when we found out who was getting put into the Supreme Court. My stepmom was like, "Oh, so they're just putting anyone in now?" And that just cracked me up.
Amy Coney Barrett, I feel like, okay, Mitch McConnell is the Senate Majority Leader of Kentucky. I feel like he kind of cheated his way out, because when Obama was president, he was trying to slow down the process of getting a Supreme Court justice put in, because he was afraid that it would be a Democrat justice. So he tried to slow that down as much as he could. Well, when it comes around and it comes around in 2020.
And Trump's been getting a lot of hate because he's done a couple bad things during COVID. Like, he'd say drink bleach or Clorox to help get rid of the disease. Or like, he just hired this random doctor who wasn't even actually, I don't think she was even a licensed doctor. He just hired her. She was?
Deborah. Yeah, she's a Democrat. She's
the crazy lady?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, she said all these weird ways to fight COVID when none of them are even true.
Oh, not that doctor. The doctor you're talking about. Yeah, she's crazy.
Hello?
Stop it, Gus.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that.
So, so Mitch McConnell was trying to slow down the process as much as he could, because he didn't want a Democrat justice to be put in. But as soon as Republican justice gets nominated, he sped that thing up. He got it done in 2 weeks when it's supposed to usually take about 68 days. So
I also think
anything that benefits the Republican Party.
All right, guys, another thing to address is, if y'all are going to vote, I recommend not voting just by who the person is. I'd recommend voting by basically how you think they are. Now, obviously, y'all can't do this now because this will be up by the time that the voting is over. I'm talking about next year, not next year, the next time, after the next 4 years, when you're able to vote again. But, Brady, you have anything to say about that?
All right, so, yes, don't vote on a personal level, because Trump would obviously lose that one. Ow! Vote on their policies and how they match your policies, what party they're in, if you care about that. Don't leave it up to choice, because I know a lot of people do not care for any candidates this year. So that is really going to be an issue of people voting on reasons they just made up, who has a cooler name, or
my citizenship last.
So,
I think that's gonna wrap it up for this day's podcast, dude.
All right. Well, it's been fun being here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Quarantine with the Boys. Make sure to look out for episodes coming your all's way in the future. And yeah, talk later.